But the larger point here is that Bishop McElroy, he was at the Vatican Synod, the Amazon Synod.
Oh, okay.
Get that. And so now he's being promoted to a position in the Vatican. He's been one of the most outspoken bishops in favor of heresy. He supports female deacons. He's a fan of LMNOP. He disagreed with Archbishop Chaput on pro-life at one of the USCCB meetings. And I also wanted to point out kind of the future of what it looks like for these types of corrupt bishops. So
Promotion to the Vatican. Put them all in one place. I like it.
It's going to be difficult for them to be promoted anytime soon to an open archbishop position. And so I did a little bit of analysis here. Archbishop Kurtz in Louisville is 74, so he's 1 year from the required retirement age. Now, Bishop Stowe is just right across the state in Lexington.
Yeah.
So I expect Bishop Stowe to get promoted to Archbishop of Louisville. I don't think that if there's anyone else that's promoted to that position, I will be shocked, and you can count on it here. So then that leaves us with McElroy and Weisenberger, and looking at it regionally, there's no one retiring, no archbishops retiring there for a few years. They're in interesting situations. Now, McElroy is 67, and so he's not necessarily super young.
No, but that's young in that crew.
Well, he's got about 7 to 8 years left.
Yeah, that's a good time.
So
that's 2 presidential administrations.
Well, he'd have to be promoted outside of his diocese, though, or outside of his region, which has happened before.
Of course, yeah.
And it could happen again, doesn't make much sense.
Even though it seems like we are overwhelmed with heresy, there are actually a limited amount of heretics who are promotable to the archbishop level. And McElroy's he's in that pool. So, yeah, if they have to throw him across the country to get him there, they will.
But still, there's no open archbishop positions across the country aside from Kurtz for a while.
Right.
I think at least like 2 or 3 years.
Well, that's assuming that Vos Estis doesn't take somebody out.
Well, that's true as well. Now, Weisenberger, Bishop Weisenberger of Tucson, Arizona, if you're not familiar with American geography, that's pretty far south. Now, Phoenix is like central Arizona, and Tucson is 2 hours south near the Mexican border. It's like an hour away. Bishop Weisenberger is 60 years old, so he's very young.
Yeah.
And he's promoting the LMNOP agenda.
Oh, he's got a bright future.
He does, and there is an open position coming in the Diocese of Phoenix. Bishop Olmsted is a pretty solid bishop.
Yes, he is.
He's 74 years old, so he's not going to be bishop for much longer. And I have personal, how do I want to say this, inside information. I don't usually have inside information, but in this case I do. Bishop Olmsted is not a huge fan of what's going on in the Vatican.
No. Good for him.
No, he is pro-life. He's not an outspoken bishop. He's pretty soft-spoken, actually, but he's a good one. And you can tell in his diocese there's a lot of Latin masses, a lot of vocations. That's pretty important. Your bishop is, you know, you're going to be a priest. You want a good bishop to be behind you. So
it's essential.
So anyway, Phoenix isn't even the metropolitan seat. Bishop Olmsted is just a bishop. He's not an archbishop.
Oh.
The metropolitan for the region is Archbishop Wester.
The Wester!
Of Santa Fe, New Mexico. Phoenix is a lot larger than Santa Fe, but whatever.
Well, that's historical tradition. That's where the Catholics were first, in Santa Fe, long before they were in Arizona.
Well, they do have some Catholic chapels there, I've heard.
Where?
Santa Fe?
Absolutely. That was one of the original missions.
Yeah, and there's the spiral.
This goes back to like the 1600s.
There's that legendary spiral staircase.
Yes.
That as the story goes, St. Joseph was it St. Joseph himself who built it?
Well, that wasn't himself, but somebody came, built it, and left.
And it was sort of a miraculous situation.
There was definitely a touch of the divine to it.
Yeah, I want to visit there sometime. That's kind of getting off topic, but that leaves the question: who will be the next bishop of Phoenix? Phoenix has an auxiliary bishop, Navarez, and he's been very outspoken in favor of pro-life.
Oh,
and so if he gets in, I think he could be a pretty solid bishop taking over.
But that won't happen.
But
that won't happen.
With the bishop to the south that has 6 LMNOP-friendly parishes in his diocese, according to the New Ways Ministries website, what are the chances? And he's young, 60 years old.